Capone is a movie directed by Josh Trank, and it stars Tom Hardy as Al Capone in the last few years of his life when he was suffering from dementia. And that's really about it. That's really about it. And I remember hearing about this movie for the past few years. It's like, oh, Josh Trank's gonna make a movie about Al Capone with Tom Hardy. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Let's see what they do with that. And I never really heard anything about it for several years, and it's like, wait, what happened to that movie? And then all of a sudden, during all this craziness, they released it on demand. It's like, oh, they filmed it. Huh. Didn't realize that. Right, that happened. And Josh Trank, he's had a very interesting career so far as a filmmaker. He burst onto the scene with Chronicle, a movie that I actually really enjoy. I thought it was a really interesting take on the superhero genre. Introduced us to actors such as Michael B. Jordan and Dane DeHaan, and then he did Fantastic Four, and the less said about that, the better. And one of the big complaints he had about working on Fantastic Four was that he didn't really have any creative freedom, that he wasn't allowed to do certain things with the property, and basically the studio just said, hey, we're taking over because we don't like your vision. So now he basically has Capone where he's free to do whatever he wants with his vision of how he feels about Al Capone. And honestly, after watching this, I'm thinking probably should have taken those notes, Josh Trank, honestly. Because just what was this? Like, literally, what was this? This was a movie that was dull, boring, and just odd. Like, why focus on that? Just why? Honestly, I'm going to say this. There's not really anything that's good in this movie. Like, at all. And that is surprising. It has a director I know who's very talented and a very capable actor of portraying someone like Al Capone, and yet they just waste the opportunity. They really do. Mainly, Tom Hardy as Al Capone. He's pretty bad in this movie. When he's like in the later stages, he's even worse as an actor in this movie. Like when you see his past, it's fine. He's like tolerable in his earlier scene. Not really earlier scenes, but like earlier in Capone's life before he went crazy from the dementia. And it's fine. It's not groundbreaking. It's okay. It's all right to watch. But it's like when he gets older, when he's just stone-faced, and he's mostly acting through his eyes, like they bulge whenever he sees someone that reminds him of his past or whatever. And he often screams a lot, and it's intelligible because obviously the dementia is really taking over. So he's like, ah, like all that, like. And I was like, okay. And like everyone else in this movie, there's a few other actors in this movie, like Linda Cardellini's in this, Kyle MacLachlan's in this. Linda Cardellini plays Al Capone's wife, and she's the wife. She doesn't really do much here. I guess she cares for her husband. She expresses concern over her husband. And that's it. A bunch of other actors appear, but they're gone. They were just probably on set for a day or something. But this movie's just not that interesting, unfortunately. I gotta talk about this too, because like the movie really seems to like go in this direction, surprisingly. But Josh Trank really likes to show the fact that Al Capone really crapped his pants during his late years. Just why? Why do we need that? It's like, okay, it's gross, but we'll deal with it. But it happens multiple times in this movie. I'm just like, we get it. This is gross. We get it. Don't do it. Don't show it again. You're showing it again. Stop it. And it's a movie where I mentioned this in Space Force and how I felt about Fred Willard in that show. I mentioned that I had a family friend who died from complications from Alzheimer's. I have a family member who's currently in a nursing home who has dementia. And it's kind of a tricky subject to me. And it's like, if you can do it right, I'll appreciate it. But if you kind of water it down like the way they do here, it's also really bad. Because it's like you're not really showing the effects of the illness. You're not really showing the effects of the people involved who have the disease or the caretakers of that disease. And it just makes me feel shame just for watching this. It's honestly embarrassing, to be honest. Like, I had no idea this movie was going to come out, and during all this, they were like, hey, it's out, and we were going to release it in theaters. I'm like, wait, you were going to release this in theaters? I forgot this movie was going to be out. And now I'm just also thinking with the whole dementia thing, it's like, it's not that I can't handle it now, but it's more, they need to look at dementia properly, I would say. Like, show the effects, show how it can affect everyone who is affecting from it in some way, not just the people who have it, but the caretakers. And it's a nothing movie. It literally is just nothing. I was just confused. I was bored. I kind of thought of this after watching this movie, but if this movie came out before Tropic Thunder, they would be making fun of this movie. That's all I'm going to say. So, I will give Capone 0.5 out of 4 stars. Skip it. I never thought I would say that about this movie. Shocking. So, did you see Capone? What did you think of it? Also, what is the worst biopic you have ever seen? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.